Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
It is a Wednesday. We appreciate you tuning in to the John and Heidi Show. Hey, baby, how's it going on that side of the counter?
Oh, you know.
Halfway through the week, so I guess that's a good thing. Hey, for the first time ever, lifeguards in Australia, Sydney, Australia, will be allowed to fine swimmers who disobey their orders and do things like swim outside the designated safe surfing sections on the beaches. So up until this point, they're like, hey, you can't go there. And they're like, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's all I'm allowed to do. Now they're like, hey, I can give you a fine, buddy. So I think that's going to be interesting to see how many fines they dole out this summer.
That's good. It's for people's safety.
It is. And I bet there's some little lifeguard dudes over there that are like, you know what? I finally have the power to give people fines. I'm giving as many as I can. You guys have been picking on me about this white thing on my nose forever. What is the stuff they put on their nose?
Zinc.
Zinc? Mm-hmm. Why just their nose? Why not their entire body? If it really helps, why wouldn't you put more of it on?
I don't know.
All right. Thank you so much for listening on a Wednesday. Got a bunch of fun stuff to chat about coming up.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com.
If you're selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. So what do you have to lose? And if you're buying an RV, you got to find the great deals at RVWheelator.com.
Now back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
I had to read this story a couple of times to make sure it was okay to read it on the radio. Norway struck an unprecedented blow for sexual equality when the government said it would force companies to guarantee that women could be in board meetings. Now, when I first glanced at that, the only words I saw were sexual and blow, and I thought that I completely misread another word in there, too. I'm going to just leave that. So I was like, whoa, we can't read about this on the radio. I'm like, wait a minute. No, this is all good. I just read it too quick, probably.
Too quick.
Yeah, too quick. So I guess they're saying now that they're going to force companies to guarantee that women could be in board meetings. So they couldn't have before.
They've always been. This is ridiculous. This is...
So I don't understand
another political ploy, unfortunately.
That's happening in Norway. So there you go. If you're in Norway and you know what's going on there, you have to let us know. Coming up, an elderly couple has been found after being missing for 6 days. Turns out they were just lost. We'll tell you all about that coming up. Yeah, that's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
We've gone places before, and, you know, I've been kind of pig-headed and said, I'm not asking for directions. We'll find our way.
Oh, yes.
I don't know quite how pig-headed I am. I don't think I'm quite this pig-headed. I don't think I'm this stubborn, but we've all been on road trips and taken a wrong turn. Maybe you know where you're going. You just don't realize exactly what's going on. There's some construction, a detour, takes a little longer. It's a bit annoying, but it doesn't cause a huge problem. But that's not quite the case for Albert Bordeaux and Marie Schellings. Albert and Marie were on their way to go see some local waterfalls about 46 miles from their home when they came into a little bit of road construction that was diverting traffic. Apparently, it diverted it quite a bit. Somehow, they got lost. They ended up in Germany.
Oh!
They couldn't figure out the traffic signs. They were lost for almost an entire week. For 6 days, they did nothing but drive in their car, eat their picnic lunch, drink bottled water, and stop for gas. I know what you're thinking. Obviously, it was Albert that was driving, right? He'd stop for gas, but asking for directions was out of the question. It's a man kind of driver, right? But in your defense, you should probably know that they didn't know how to speak German, and neither one of them. So they were in a country where they couldn't speak the language. I'll bet somebody
somebody spoke English. Did they try?
I don't know. It doesn't even say what country they're from.
Okay, so buy a translation book or use your there's a translator app on your phone.
I don't think that these people have a phone. I'm just saying. It says an elderly couple, and if they were lost for 6 days, I'm pretty sure they don't have the technology to figure it out. But if you do get lost, stop and ask somebody. They'll help you find your way. And you certainly don't want to be lost for 6 days. I have been stubborn on things. My wife here will attest. I've been stubborn.
Never that stubborn.
No, I would never, ever, ever be that stubborn. All right, it is a Wednesday, and we appreciate you listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got Your Brain on Drugs coming your way in a bit.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is Your Brain on Drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help. Go to KeystoneTreatment.com.
You can also call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-800-992-1921.
And this is your brain on drugs. A man is acquitted of drunk driving. You know why?
Why?
Because he was too drunk. Yeah.
How can you be acquitted if you're too drunk?
Take a listen to this. In August, a Portland, Oregon jury acquitted a drunk driver, defendant Robert Lee Burskick, I don't know how to say it, after a judge accepted his argument that incriminating statements he made at the scene could not be used against him because, and I quote, "I was so drunk, I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't know that I waived my Miranda rights."
Oh.
So he didn't have the right to remain silent. He told them what he had done because he was so drunk he didn't know that he was incriminating himself.
Wow.
Therefore, his attorney found
that is one slick-talking lawyer.
Some wiggly little way to get out of that this will now be the precedent, and everyone everywhere will have to come up with a way. We need to come up now with a drunk person's Miranda rights. You know, like they do at restaurants?
I want that guy's
where
lawyer's
they point at the
phone
pictures.
Number.
You know,
that's what I'm saying. We got to find out the phone number for that guy's lawyer, and today.
Yeah, we could use you. They have to, like a big menu kind of thing. They just point at the pictures. I don't know. This has been your Brain on Drugs.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVWheelator.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
What do you do for a man who has cancer? You fire him from his job, right? No, that doesn't seem right. But 54-year-old Ronald Malkovitz, a fire inspector in Bedford Park, Illinois, he was a fire inspector. He was fired for after 28 years on the job, just 1 year shy of retirement, for violating the town rules against soliciting charitable contributions. But get this, the solicitation was initiated by other people to help pay for his treatment for cancer. So it wasn't him going out and saying, "Hey, would you pay for my cancer?"
Right.
There were people doing a charity thing and
fundraiser.
Yeah, fundraiser.
Yeah. Oh.
And it was thought to be by doctors to be fatal. However, Ronald got the miracle. He beat the odds. He survived chemotherapy. He returned to work, and even though the town officials noted that his near terminal condition, they approved the solicitation. When he came back to work, they enforced the no soliciting rule and they fired him.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's now potentially going to be suing for wrongful discharge, which is just really sad that even be in a situation to do that.
Right.
So, there you go.
That's awful.
Yeah. Coming up, we have your scoop of the day.
The John and Heidi Show podcast is brought to you by DirecTV.
They have big time savings going on right now, so you can sign up and save. Get all the details at 1-800-259-7646.
Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com.
Quite possibly the best way to buy an RV or to sell an RV. They're like a realtor for your RV. Check out RVWheelator.com.
And the Dollar Shave Club.
Get amazing razors for $1 a month, and for a few bucks more, they'll bring them right to your door.
Sign up today at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Time now for the scoop of the day. Senator Ted Cruz says if he's elected, he plans to hold a Cuban pig roast on the White House lawn. That's kind of an interesting campaign promise. There you go. A Florida couple is accused of giving their teenage daughter cocaine and marijuana if they went to school and did household chores. They're like, you guys go to school, you do your chores, and we're going to give you some cocaine.
Oh, my gosh.
Marijuana. Yeah. Probably not going to end well. A 60-year-old Massachusetts woman has pled not guilty to running a crack cocaine delivery service from her pickup truck. This is quite the program today. Bottled water might not be any healthier or safer than tap water, according to a Florida-based sports nutritionist and dietitian, Cynthia Sass. They say 25% of bottled water on the store shelves is actually just repackaged tap water. A recent Gallup poll found that we drink bottled water because we think it's purer than tap water. We think it tastes better. We think it's more convenient. But they're saying the only thing that's convenient about it is that, you know, somebody's making a ton of money off of your not necessarily checking into things.
Right.
I drink a lot of bottled water, and I don't do it because I think it's more pure. I do it because it's probably better for me than the alternative. So,
right. And
I'm going, maybe if I planned ahead and just, brought an empty bottle, I'd be better. Smoking damages the body in minutes rather than years, according to new research. The report published in Chemical Research and Toxicology shows that chemicals which cause cancer form rapidly after smoking. Scientists involved in a small-scale study described the result as a stark warning to people who are considering smoking. The long-term impact of smoking from heart disease to a range of cancers is well known, but the study suggests the damage begins, and I quote, moments after the first cigarette is smoked. So it doesn't take years.
Wow.
It takes moments. In other news, British scientists have developed a new melt-proof recipe for chocolate.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't imagine that that's good for you.
The heat-tolerant chocolate developed by Cadbury engineers remains solid even when exposed to temperatures in excess of 104 degrees.
There's no way that can be good for you.
And it can be at that temperature for more than 3 hours.
Oh my gosh.
So you want to melt this stuff, you better crank up our dog. I'm sorry. We have a puppy dog in the studio here. She just tried to climb up on my lap. I had no idea what was going on. Sorry about that. Let's get back to work here. That was the weirdest thing ever. An Illinois man robbed a gas station, then fled. Well, maybe fled is not quite the best word. He slowly drove off in an 18-wheel tractor trailer, which also had his name on the door. He drove away so slowly, in fact, that the manager had time to call the police, get into her own car, and tail him, even having to slow down at times so she wouldn't bump into him. So it made it a pretty easy day for the police there in Illinois.
Huh.
That's not really a fast getaway. He robbed the station in an 18-wheeler and then barely putted away.
Nice.
All right. You ready for a strange law?
Sure.
I can tell you a strange thing that just happened. That is so weird. And I pet my puppy dog all the time, but I was not expecting her. I have my hand hanging down, and she saw that as an opportunity to get a free pet.
You scared the heck out of me. You
I
jumped
know,
so high. I was like, oh my gosh.
I hit my hand on the counter, and I did notice that our dog took off running, so apparently I scared her too. Well, our strange law for today, from Pueblo, Colorado. It is illegal to let a dandelion grow within city limits.
Huh.
So if you live in Pueblo, Colorado, apparently your lawn looks beautiful because you cannot legally have dandelions in city limits.
Interesting.
I've got room for one more quick law. In Quitman, Georgia, it is illegal for a chicken to cross the road.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's for real. Quitman,
Who
Georgia.
are they going to ticket?
Probably the chicken, I'm guessing.
Oh,
all right.
man.
That's going to do it for your scoop of the day. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday. Guess what we have coming up?
What?
A second scoop. That's on the way. Oh, yeah.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by Rough Tough Kennels.
If you have a puppy or a big dog, Rough Tough Kennels has something that's just right for you. They have kennels that are strong enough that I can stand on top of them, but they're cozy enough for your furry little best friend. Learn more and see the different sizes available at roughtoughkennels.com.
That's RUFF. toughkennels.com.
Thank you again for listening on a Wednesday. We have no guest today, and when we don't have a guest at this time, we do a second scoop. Are you ready for a second scoop?
Yes.
I even have a second law today. Well, it's actually a third because I shared two of them last time. But ladies, how do you make him fall in love? According to research, you're supposed to take him on a roller coaster ride or maybe go bungee jumping or whitewater rafting. Literally turns out that stomach flips and adrenaline and screams associated with any white-knuckled event creates a rush of the hormone that makes men fall in love. According to research from Richard Robinson, author of Why the One You Fancy Never Fancies You, he says the hormone is called... should I repeat that? No, it's like phenylethylamine.
Huh.
Pretty sure I got all of that right. Anyway, it's an important component in the science of attraction, and it's secreted when you see someone you really like. So I'm trying to think. The night that you and I met.
So would that work for you? Like, should I have taken you bungee jumping or something?
Yes.
That would have been better.
Can we do that? Is it too late? Can we do that today?
Honestly, the night that we met, nothing like that happened. You were singing karaoke. Unless that gives you the same kind of adrenaline.
You saying that wasn't exhilarating and awesome? No, but if you think back, when you and I first met, it wasn't like that night we were like, head over heels in love, and we were getting married for sure. It was more like we met and we were kind of friends.
So then it was the tree museum.
Oh, yeah, it was that, definitely. We did. We went to and for those of you who've ever heard of this, I think it's just a park with a bunch of trees. Somebody was so smart. They went around and put a bunch of signs up, making up fake stories about these trees.
Yeah, it's
and
ridiculous.
They call it a tree museum. I'm like, is that even a real thing?
I know, it's ridiculous.
All right, back to our scoop of the day, our second scoop. Brian Mulligan was arrested on a driving charge. He spent 20 hours in a police cell before being driven 150 miles for a court appearance. You see, he had the same name as a man on an arrest warrant. His address and date of birth did not match, but it was close enough for the police. Never mind the fact that they have the wrong man. They're like, close enough. Not close enough for the courts.
Closed.
Not close enough for the courts. They released him because, after all, he was the wrong man. So they let him go. But here's the sad part. He was 150 miles from home with no way to get home. He literally had to thumb a ride. Needless to say, he's none too thrilled about it.
No.
So I got a feeling there's going to be some sort of lawsuit involved there.
And rightfully so.
When rescue crews arrived at McHale's home in Akron, Ohio, after a series of confusing phone calls, they didn't find a medical emergency, but they did find a batch of newborn puppies. McHale is a puppy. McHale delivered 13 healthy puppies on her own. In the process, authorities say she abused the 911 emergency system meant to save human lives. That meant they can't respond to other calls because of, they're going to be in that vicinity instead of theirs. Anyway, Lieutenant Alan Bragg from the Akron Fire Department says that call could be for something that's very serious. McHale is now facing criminal charges for calling in a false alarm. We're trained to save human lives, not animal lives. Woman in labor? Yes. Dogs? No. So wait a minute. Is McHale the dog? McHale must be the person's last name. I'm thoroughly confused.
I am very confused.
There was a dog that gave birth to 13 puppies, but I'm assuming that it wasn't the dog then that called?
The dog.
I was pretty sure that all the way along, but now I'm kind of wondering.
Now I'm confused.
I have no idea what's going on. And did you know that your credit score can actually make an impact on your insurance premiums?
I did.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Got some info here. It says it varies by the type of car and the different things. There's a lot of different things, but there are, of the 5 largest auto insurance providers, for 2 hypothetical customers who are identical, other than the fact that one has good credit and one has bad credit, they were able to find a situation.
Yeah.
The one that relies the most on the credit, I don't think I'm going to say the names of these companies. We are those guys. 62% fluctuation for theirs. Yeah. And the lizard people, that sounds kind of funny. They rely on credit the least, only a 32% fluctuation. So everybody else fell somewhere in the midst of all that. The Connecticut had 15% fluctuation, and the state with the biggest fluctuation, Connecticut, by the way, was the best. The biggest impact would be Michigan, 115% difference. There you go.
I see.
The average is about a 49% differential, depending on, it says statewide. You look all across all the states, it's about a 49% difference. So if you have better credit, you have better
I did know
rates.
that.
All right. Your second scoop, we're going to end with a second strange law. In Long Beach, California, it is illegal to curse on a mini golf course. I'm pretty sure that cuts out several of the people I know who are ever going mini golfing in Long Beach, California.
I could see, because there's usually children on a mini golf course, but
sense.
To make it illegal, couldn't you just say, hey, come on, man,
Just
watch
post
your
a sign,
language?
something like that.
Yeah.
All right. This has been your second scoop, because we had no guest today, and we always try to have some fun here on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Today is a very special day, Heidi. You know what today is?
What is today, John?
It's Wednesday. It's the 17th day of June, and it is Eat Your Vegetables Day. Ooh, that's not necessarily a good thing. When you were growing up, what was your least favorite vegetable to eat? Was there one that you're like, I don't want to eat that?
My mom always made vegetables that she knew we would eat, so I didn't have a whole lot of that.
I didn't dislike, my mother made corn and, peas and things that, you don't really like.
I don't
peas.
like peas.
I don't mind peas. I even had lima beans, and I was like, those aren't bad. But that wasn't something my mom made. I wanted to try them. I'm like, are those any good? But anyway, today is Eat Your Veggies Day. It's Stewart's Root Beer Day, and it's World Day to combat the desertification and drought. So I think that has something to do with things being dry. I'm not sure, though. I'm going to just eat some veggies and root beer, because that's a safe way to celebrate.
Eat some veggies and root beer.
I'm going to eat some veggies.
Eat some root beer.
Chase them down with root beer from Stewart's on this Wednesday, the 17th day of June.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVWheelator.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
This is an interesting thing. A computer engineer has found a live mouse inside a faulty PC's hard drive. Gary Taylor of Copelandshire, I think this is in England, says the creature caused the machine to short circuit by chewing through the wires to make a nest. He thinks the rodent may have crawled into the computer through a tiny hole in the back. The engineer said he looked inside the computer and saw a little face staring back at him. How weird would that be? Mr. Taylor, who runs TaylorMade Computer Services, cleaned the computer out and set the mouse free. So,
that was nice.
There was a little mouse inside of the computer. And I know, I've joked about that before, because my computer's going slow. I'm like, oh, we need to feed the squirrels,
But that was nice that you didn't kill the mouse.
That there's squirrels on a treadmill keeping my computer going. As a matter of fact, it's one model before this one that did actually have squirrels. That's how old his computer is. But, this guy had a live mouse inside his computer when he was getting it repaired. So if he went inside of a tiny hole, maybe the mouse couldn't get back out. I wonder what he was eating in there. Computer chips? Chips. Yeah. Megabytes. I'll be here all week, folks. Yeah, probably not. What is the weirdest thing that you've ever, have you ever opened something up and found something that didn't belong? Like this here, he opened up the computer and found a mouse that wasn't supposed to be there.
Not that I can think of, my aunt has.
What did she find? Oh, yeah, let's not talk about that. Trust me, if you're eating breakfast, you don't want to hear about this. Yeah, I'll save you all that. You can reach out to Heidi and ask, but it's not going to be on the radio.
We can share that on the bonus break.
No, I don't even think we should do it there. Hey, coming up here in a moment, we've got a great story. We're going to talk about a pizza place that's selling a new product that I don't know who was asking for this thing. And part of me wants to try it now, but there's a new pizza. And what in the world is going on in the pizza kitchens at all of these big national chains? They keep coming out with more and more crazy things to put on pizzas and in pizzas and around pizzas. But we're going to chat about one of those coming your way in a bit, right here on the Wednesday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
All right, a few months ago, there was a commercial. It's probably still on some TV programs. I haven't really watched TV lately, but there was this commercial for a place that was selling bacon pizza. Remember this?
Oh, yeah.
3 feet of bacon.
That was disgusting.
We tried it. Well, it wasn't. It was just a lot.
You tried it.
I tried it.
And you're like, here, take a bite.
I was very lethargic
afterwards.
Oh,
my gosh.
Like,
it was awful.
It wasn't
awful. And
awful.
it was really, really, really salty.
It was just, it was a bit much for me. Now, I know somebody that loves it, so don't say it's awful. You didn't really even try it.
I tried it.
Now, there's a new company. It's not a new company, but there's a different company that's selling one now. It is a pizza with 28 hot dogs stuffed in the crust.
Ew.
Who is asking for that? You know what this could really use?
This pizza's amazing.
This is good. But
only there was some hot dogs.
If there were hot dogs in the crust of this, that would be amazing. Apparently that conversation happened somewhere because that is available at and you notice I didn't say either of the places.
No, that's okay.
So there you
go.
You have to do the research on your own. Coming up here in a moment, we're going to talk about freezing food and how long it'll last. That is crazy, and it's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club.
You can get razors every month for just $1. And for $2 more, they'll bring them right to your door. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more.
That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
When it comes to food, I'm not a big fan of stuff that's been in the freezer for a long, long time. You buy buns and put buns in the freezer. I'm like, what are you doing there?
You're such a wimp.
I am. But did you know you can freeze almost all non-citrus foods for up to a year?
I did not.
According to the Huffington Post, other foods can last for months longer than you might think. You can freeze vegetables, juices, steaks, margarine, spices, lobster, whole chickens and turkeys, muffins, pork roast and beef roasts, and an entire...
Coffee creamer?
12 months.
Does it say?
It doesn't say coffee creamer. But it had everything else that we have in our fridge. But it sounds like you can freeze almost everything. And there's a place online where you can find the freezer guide. So you go online, and I don't know where you look, but you look online and find it, and it'll tell you what all you can freeze. But you freeze bread? Why do you freeze bread? What's the deal with that?
Well, if we bought it and we don't get to it, I'd rather freeze it and then get it out later than have it get moldy and be thrown away.
I would rather throw it away because it doesn't taste good when you get it out of it. Here, have a bun. You're like, oh, this was apparently frozen. Look at that. Yummy. Coming up, we're going to talk about the T-Rex, who's maybe not the T-Rex. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
When is a Tyrannosaurus Rex not a Tyrannosaurus Rex? Well, that's when it's a Modzapaliogigas.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I said none of that right. The good old T-Rex might be losing his familiar name. Some T-Rex bones unearthed in South Dakota could be part of a fossil found in 1892 before the T-Rex was named. According to the rules of paleontology, I'm sorry, how did I get that wrong? According to the rules of paleontology, the first person to find it is the one that gets to name it. The man found a skeleton, called it Mandiosopolis gigas, which means giant thin vertebrae. Tyrannosaurus Rex, by the way, is Latin for tyrant lizard king. So if they win this suit, he's no longer T-Rex. He's
I hope they don't, because he looks like a T-Rex. Who wants to use that big, long name?
I can't even say it. Maybe if I heard it a few times correctly, maybe I'd be able to say it.
Just say T-Rex. Why do you need to name it something different?
How would you shorten it up this... I'm going to try to say it again here. I'll say it slower.
It's not like anybody is going to change what they call the T-Rex anyway. It's been a T-Rex for so long. So even if you do change what you call this thing... Yeah. You're not changing what anybody calls that dinosaur.
I'm going to say it. You tell me if you think this sounds correct. Manospondylus gigas. Manospondylus gigas.
I think that's probably right.
Manospondylus gigas. Manospondylus gigas. You say it enough times.
Maybe it would just be Manos.
Maybe they'll just call him Manny. Hey, Manny.
Hey, Manny.
Instead of T-Rex.
That's not near as scary for the type of mammal
that was. What's your name? I'm
Manny.
Manny. Manny Gigas.
Oh, goodness.
All right. Coming up here in a moment, we have... What do I have? Oh, it's over here. Interesting story. Can you imagine being told you can't graduate because you threw your cap in the air?
Oh, everybody throws their cap in the air.
Well, not everybody. You're not supposed to do it. We're going to tell you all about what happened here. That is on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by Rough Tough Kennels.
If you have a puppy or a big dog, Rough Tough Kennels has something that's just right for you. They have kennels that are strong enough that I can stand on top of them, but they're cozy enough for your furry little best friend. Learn more and see the different sizes available at roughtoughkennels.com.
That's RUFF. toughkennels.com.
Imagine being told that you cannot graduate because you threw your cap into the air. Isn't that crazy?
That's awful.
Administrators had a change of heart, withholding diplomas from an entire graduating class because students defied the instructions not to throw their hats.
That's awful.
This was at Ridgewood High School in Norridge, a Chicago suburb. They referred to the cap tossing at the ceremony as disrespectful and insubordinate behavior.
Seriously, it's a celebration.
Have you been to a graduation before? That's what they do. It's a tradition. By Thursday morning, officials had reversed course, saying it had been rethought. The policy would be sending out diplomas immediately.
Yeah,
so Ridgewood High School is known as the home of the rebels. So the Ridgewood Rebels. So they're like, go ahead, tell me I can't graduate. I'm still throwing my hat. You're the rebels. What are they supposed to do? Sit around and
ridiculous.
Clink little tea saucers together? Woo-hoo.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Congratulations on your graduation. Oh, you too, good sir. So I don't know. The rebels got in a little bit of trouble, but at the end of the day, they did get their diplomas. So that's nice. All right, almost time to say goodbye, Heidi.
All right.
Before we go, I just want to say thank you to everybody who is listening to this program. We've had so much fun, and we do this little bonus break on the podcast. And for those of you who've never heard of the podcast, that's okay. Most people haven't. You're not missing anything at all if you don't go and listen. But we do a little bonus break. We try to do that every day on the podcast. So if you're bored and you got nothing better to do, you might go check that out. It's called The John and Heidi Show on Sprecher.com. I think I'm saying that right. I still haven't quite found out. But again, thank you to everybody that does listen to this program right here on this radio station. We're absolutely thrilled to have you here, and we appreciate you joining us. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. We'll talk to you again bright and early tomorrow morning with much more silliness, much more goofiness, and it's all with no calories. On Thursdays only, no calories. That's coming your way tomorrow. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And the bonus break is brought to you by dollarshaveclub.com/radio. And if you go there, you can get all kinds of bonuses. Not just bonuses like this. They'll give you some really cool stuff when you order their razors. I got, what did I get the other day? It was the stuff you put on your face when you cut yourself. There's a name for it. They had a cool name for it.
Aftershave?
No, it's not that. It's like repair serum or something. They've got cool names for everything. And I'm excited because I just clicked a little button on my email. If you do sign up and you're going, hey, I don't get these bonuses, check your email. Because they'll send you an email and say, hey, would you like a little something free? And you got to go, yeah?
Yes, I love
free stuff. And then all they do is
they
send it to you for free. So I just said, yes, I'll take one for a thing that I have been laughing about since the day I discovered Dollar Shave Club. It's called a One Wipe Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
Use your imagination for what this is for. I thought that was the most ridiculous thing ever, but there are people who love them. I was reading the reviews on it. People are just singing their praises. I'm like, I've never been that happy with my toilet paper that I would write any sort of recommendation to anybody. But if you'd like to know more about all this silliness that we're talking about, go check out dollarshaveclub.com/radio. We're going to talk about how to get a good night's sleep, but Heidi wanted to share a story first. So
yes. Well, we talked earlier
about a mouse that was in a computer.
Well, you said, have you ever opened something up and found something that wasn't supposed to be there?
Finding something that didn't belong. There was a mouse inside a computer.
But my aunt...
Don't say who.
...has...
Her daughter listens to this program.
Yes, and her daughter, they were in a store, and they bought a cola. I'm not even going to say which brand.
Thank you.
And
I'm on the edge of my seat right now.
My little cousin at the time was maybe...
Teeny
4 years old. She took a swig of it and she was like, Mommy, this is gross. This tastes funny. And my aunt was like, no, it's fine. You're fine. Just drink it. And she was like, I don't want to drink it. You drink it. And she hands it to her mom. And it's like, my aunt was like, it's fine.
I bleeped it. Thank goodness.
And she's like, see? And she took a big swig of it and she got something in her mouth.
And it turned out to be...
And they went into the bathroom and dumped it out, and it was...
Feces.
It was poop. Yeah. This was years and years and years ago, way before people sued for everything.
Yeah.
She complained at the store. They gave her a free 12-pack.
Can I get more of that delicious goodness?
Yeah, she could have been set for life if she would have...
I don't know about that, but it's certainly...
she still to this day pours cola into a glass.
I would too.
Before she drinks it. Yeah.
I probably will now that I've heard of this. All right. How would you get a good night's sleep? Well, the Sleep Foundation said, here's what you need to do. Some simple tips to beat insomnia. Do something dull before you go to bed. Don't do the most exciting thing of your day right before you go to bed. They do something like your taxes or read a phone book or sort your laundry or listen to the John and Heidi Show. Wait a minute. They have that right on the list? No, they don't really. But little boring things will help make you fall asleep quicker. Next, drink milk before bedtime. Milk contains a substance that relaxes the body, and that's great news. It doesn't even have to be warm milk. You only warm it if you want to warm it. Some people think, you need warm milk to go to bed. No, you can drink cold milk. Huh. You could drink hot milk. You could drink room temperature milk. Temperature doesn't matter. Next, keep your bedroom dark. If you have light, that interferes with sleep. Duh.
I agree.
Even when your eyes are closed, they still perceive light. If you avoid night lights and illuminated clock dials, that's going to help you fall asleep quicker.
I agree. And same thing with televisions.
Yeah.
Even if the volume is muted, the flickering of the screen.
It does. Something going on in the brain there.
Yeah.
Keep your bedroom cool and your bed warm. The ideal sleeping situation is to bundle up warmly in a snug bed in a room that's ventilated and chilly.
I told you.
Yeah. I haven't believed any of the other things they've said either, so now I definitely disagree with them. We live in a wind tunnel. We sleep. If you've ever seen those things where they have the giant wind blowing through, that's pretty much where
our room is freezing cold, and I've got covers clear up to my neck.
So she'll crank the air conditioner to high, and then she also turns on a ceiling fan, which I'm pretty sure she souped up. I think it's actually the propeller off an airplane. I'm sleeping underneath of it, and my blankets are blowing off. That's how bad it is. But these are ideal conditions for Heidi to sleep.
Yes.
All right, next, enjoy herbal tea before bed, but not too much herbal tea. Many people sip relaxing teas made from chamomile, passion flower, hawthorn, and other herbs to help them get the rest. But remember, if you drink too much of any liquid before bedtime, it could have the opposite effect, especially if you have a sensitive bladder. You don't want to wet the bed.
No.
Because then that tea turns into pee, and that's no good. All right, and finally, use your bed for only one thing, sleep.
Yeah?
Two things, sleep and... No, it says if you like to read yourself to sleep or knit yourself to sleep or do puzzles or other things, do that in a chair. You want your bed to be associated with sleep and that one other thing. They don't have that on the list, but how could they possibly have overlooked this? This was clearly put together by a lady, because dudes would be like, don't forget this. All right. So do you agree with that list?
Pretty much, yes. I do.
Blasted list. I don't like that. That's from the Sleep Foundation. You can find them online at we're a bunch of liar faces.
Liarheads.org
or something. I'm not sure. No, it's probably all right. I don't have any trouble falling asleep.
No, you can fall asleep standing up.
By the time I get to bed, I am exhausted. I have found this little trick called work your tail off all day long, or be busy doing something.
You know what?
To the point where you're exhausted.
This cracks me up about you, because you're talking about that other thing that you do in bed, and it's not uncommon for you to come upstairs and lay next to me and be like, "Hey, baby, you want to?"
Just because I just don't want you to say I never initiate anything. I initiated it, but I also aborted in the middle of the sentence. Hey, you in the mood to? In the mood to what? What? You talking to me?
What?
You in the mood to what? I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
I think I was dreaming. I'm glad we're not on the radio, because this could be very embarrassing. But thank you, by the way. I thanked everybody for listening to the radio programs that we're on. Big thank you to everybody that listens to this podcast. This is a new thing for us.
Right.
Just started this a little over a month ago. And I look on there and I see that, we don't have millions of people listening right now.
But we have hundreds.
Yeah, we do. And I don't know how people find out about it now, because we don't really advertise it very well. I mention it once in a while at the end of the radio program, but I don't even do that all the time, and I'm going to probably quit doing that. But if you want to share this with people, and if you have ideas on how we could make this podcast better, let me know, because I'm an idiot. I don't know how any of this stuff works. But I do want to say goodbye for now, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow on another edition of the John and Heidi Show.